Okay, we're back, friends. The rally just concluded, and I know that many of you are eager to hear about what our friend and colleague Allan Parker, pro-life attorney, was inside. He's head of the Justice Foundation, as many of you know. Right. So, Allan, you heard the whole session. Tell us what happened.
Well, the malpractice, the malfeasance, and the misrepresentation of the abortion industry was on full display. For the first time in a long time, if ever, the low regard for the safety of their patients was exposed. I thought the argument was magnificent. The conservative justices were alert and asked piercing questions, but my client, Cindy Collins, felt betrayed by the women on the court. She said to me afterwards, they didn't care about punctured uteruses. They were acting like women bleeding to death was nothing, because maybe it doesn't happen every time.
Wow.
Deserve serious protection. And just, she felt like she did when the abortionist said, you're not our problem anymore. You can lie on just go to the emergency room. Take care of yourself. And that's the attitude of the abortion industry. We do the dirty deed. You're else's problem. We've got your money, and that's it. I was shocked by the callousness of some members of the Supreme Court.
Did our two newest justices ask any questions?
Justice Gorsuch seemed to be silent, but Brett Kavanaugh asked several very piercing questions. State all the doctors already had hospital admitting privileges. Would a law like that be unconstitutional? And no burden? And they said, yes, it'd be unconstitutional. So the radicalism of the abortion industry is clearly on display today. They don't even want women to get hospital care when they injure the women. It's just horribly callous.
Now the question is, we've been discussing it a lot this morning with various other experts.
Well, the liberal justices who overturned thousands of years of precedent to give us gay marriage were concerned about overturning 8 Supreme Court decisions, which just, by the way, allowed the abortionist to sue on behalf of women rather than asserting their own rights. The conservative justices were very concerned about the conflict of interest. Why should someone who's profiting from poor care be able to set aside health and safety regulations to help women? So the third-party standing argument is one we could see the court throwing out the whole court case and never letting the abortion industry sue without women. And here's why they don't want women in the case. Women can change their minds. If the women got involved and said, what, you guys don't have hospital admitting privileges? What am I doing on your side? You know, Father, like I do, having represented Norma McCorvey, the Roe of Roe v. Wade, she was pro-abortion until she worked in an abortion clinic.
That's right.
And then she said, these guys are terrible.
Exactly.
Her testimony is in the case, in our brief, on behalf of women injured by abortion, because Norma worked in the clinic. She said they lied to the women. They weren't very well-credentialed doctors. The conditions were filthy. And they told me, don't say anything that would make a woman change her mind. They want to speak for women, so it's a carefully crafted message, and the women can't change their mind when they see the reality of what happened.
You know, many people consider Roberts sort of as a swing vote now. Did he say much and give much indication where he stands on this case?
I would not say so. He kind of acted as an umpire to limit some of the questions, give the lawyers a chance to argue, but he seemed interested in the standing issue and the health issue. He kind of asked, I'd say, a question or two on both sides.
Allan, the Solicitor General of the United States, Noel Francisco, also shared in the argument, didn't he? Tell us about that. I've been telling our viewers this morning that that's a sense that it shows how important this is to the president and to the administration. President, it's another sign of President Trump's pro-life commitment. What can you tell us about what Noel Francisco said?
He did a magnificent job arguing the case. He knew the facts of this case, and he could point out the specific malpractice and lack of trying to even get hospital admitting privileges. And he did a very, very good job arguing the case. He was well prepared. He answered the questions of the liberal justices very, very sharply, crisply, and to the point. And in one sentence, he answered about 3 or 4 of the things the conservatives had asked about with crisp support for their position. He did a magnificent job.
He's a great guy.
And I want to say Liz Morrell, the Attorney General for Louisiana, did a very good job also.
I'm so glad to hear all this. Friends, you're hearing an insight that just recently concluded inside the court. Our friend Allan. In the days to come, I'm sure we'll be talking more about this case, but thank you for yesterday and today. We've had 2 wonderful days here, and we've been able to bring this to a lot of people who I'm sure appreciate being part of this, even though they couldn't be here physically.
God bless you for all you do, and I'm glad that our side did, at least it looks to me, equally show up. We've got to get to where we show up in greater numbers than them, and when a case that may more directly call for the reversal of Roe v. Wade, we'll need even more people here. But this was a good practice round.
It was. Thank you, Allan. All right, friends, we'll be back with you a little bit later, and you want to say a quick hello?
Happy to, yeah.
All right. Brandi Swindell of Stanton Health. She's from Idaho. We dedicated one of her centers recently. But how are you doing today?
I am doing good, Father Frank. Always good to see you, and especially at these incredible rallies with so many wonderful life-affirming people that are out here to protect women and protect life. And of course, we have the opposition right over here to the side. But our crowd, man, this is the cream of the crop out here today.
It certainly is. This was an important hearing today. Great rally, a lot of speakers, a lot of leaders, members of Congress, members of the Senate. This is going to impact. This doesn't impact just Louisiana. Impacts all the states. I know the state of Idaho had a friend of the court brief in this case.
Yes.
That was significant because this impacts the whole nation.
It impacts every nation around the world. It impacts our nation specifically. Here, what we do here in America, what we do here in Washington, D.C. has a ripple effect. Obviously, we know with the United States Supreme Court, it sets a precedent that all the states end up following. And this hearing, this case, was about common sense restrictions on abortion clinics that would protect women and protect the health of women. And how any group can say that they're for women and oppose something like the Louisiana law that puts restrictions on clinics, admitting privileges, basic things like that. It's awful to see that. And what it really does is it exposes the pro-abortion side. That at the end of the day, it's not really about helping women. It's not about protecting women. It's not about simple access to abortion health care. What this is about is protecting their golden egg of abortion. That's what it is. They love abortion. And any common sense restrictions they find totally offensive. And I know for me, I'm out here today from Idaho representing the millions of women and men across the nation that reject the abortion industry's brand of abortion healthcare. Abortion is never, ever healthcare.
Well, thank you, Brandi Swindell.
Absolutely. God
Great
bless
to be
you,
with you
Father
today, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, sounds good. God bless you.
Okay, friends, and we'll talk to you soon as well. We'll be back a little bit later with more updates.